If you've ever thought about starting a business but then changed your mind, this video is for you. Hi, I'm Nicole and I put out content for early stage business founders, especially those who are non-technical and thinking about starting a tech-enabled business. So today I want to touch on something pretty close to my heart because nearly every person I know has thought about starting a business, but only a tiny fraction of them have actually followed through. Now, if that's you right now, there's a lot of reasons why you might or might not start a business. I want to talk you through the reasons why you should and the reasons why maybe it's not right for you. Most women I know are overqualified and underconfident. And when you start thinking about a business, you are inundated with all of this content online, and most of it is by men, and most of it is hustle culture. So I want to approach that a bit differently today. I am not anti-job. I think there are some amazing benefits of having the stability of full-time work, and I don't think you should have to give that up on an untested risk. So I am a big advocate for building your business whilst you maintain your day job and your family life, if that's within your capacity to do so. If you need to burn yourself out to do something, it is not a sustainable business. Everything that I suggest has to be within the framework of what you are capable of doing in the long term. By the end of this video, you'll know if starting a business is something that you should seriously consider for you, or if it's something you can let go of without any guilt whatsoever. So let's talk about my top 3 reasons why you as a woman should start a business in 2026. The first one is undeniably control over your own time and energy. Now, if you're starting a business and you've already got a ton of commitments, either with a day job, or family, or just life, it's definitely reasonable to consider that a business will take more time and energy rather than helping with that overwhelm. There's also a genuine fear of burnout and risk and guilt, especially when you haven't committed. The limbo is full of guilt. If your priority is protecting the life you have, that is a great priority to have. It is about what's right for you in the moment, and sometimes you just need to give yourself permission to do that. Let's be realistic about the time and energy it's going to cost you and the time and energy you will get back. So when you have a day job, your employer will set the pacing, the timing, and the workload. The advantage of having your own business is that you're in control of those shots. There is a legitimate burden when you first start a business about getting that workload on, especially if you aren't able to give up something else in your life. So undeniably, in the short term, it will add to your workload because you cannot maintain a day job and maintain everything else in your life and add something else in without the whole workload getting bigger. But what you're doing there is that you're taking that little bit of essentially front-loaded effort for the future trade-off of not having to deal with that. So the good news is, if this is your worry, you're probably already doing it. Women are way better at this than men because we already deal with constraints. We are already the ones who are managing our lives via our kids' schedule. Most of us have been brought up in a society where we need to work around other people's constraints. But that's why it's important to remember why you're trying to do it, because if the end goal is that you can reduce some of those things in your life or you can make them more manageable, this little bit of short-term pain for a long-term gain could be exactly what you need. So my next reason that you should start a business is that you can have the financial benefits without needing permission. So what I mean by that is that when you work for someone else, you're going to encounter things like pay ceilings. You're going to encounter career bottlenecks. If you want to take time off for maternity leave, statistically speaking, that is going to set back your earning capacity for a period of time. But we all know this. This is not news to anyone. If you want to go into traditional employment, you have to deal with the traditional problems. Even if they're getting better, they're not where they need to be yet. And that is just the reality of 2026. So now let's talk about starting your own business. When you work for someone else, you have a pretty linear increase in your salary and hopefully some stability around paychecks and reliable income. As soon as you move to your own business model, it is not linear. There will be good times, there will be bad times. There's probably going to be a long period at the start where you don't get paid enough and it possibly even costs you money. Once you get through that initial phase and you've actually built your business in a sustainable way, then the sky's the limit. Your ability to growth is as good as your idea and your ability to execute on it. You are not constrained by someone else's ideals or by someone else's company. And the best part about starting a business is that you can absolutely get the best of both worlds. You can keep that financial stability and you can keep that security that you know where your money's coming from whilst you start the business on the side. For that period of time where the business isn't growing, you've got your day job. Once it gets to that point where you can rely on it, you can let the day job go. That is an amazing place to be if you can handle the workload of 2 obligations. Now, here is my last and possibly most important reason why you should start a business in 2026, and that is that you already have transferable skills. Now, this one hits home because in every cohort of women that I mentor, there'll be at least one who's coming to me and saying, look, I don't have a career. I'm not an expert in anything. I will work really hard. I will learn everything, but I don't have the skills. And that's where they're wrong. If you go into starting a business thinking you need to know everything, you won't be able to. You have to go in with a mindset of, if I know this, great. And if I don't know this, I can learn it. Every person watching this channel will have some degree of problem-solving skills, of good communication, of intense organizational skills. You'll have that level of emotional intelligence that is required to weather the stressful periods and the good periods. Whatever you are doing, if you are doing it well, that skill will transfer to your business. And if you have the self-awareness to know where your strengths lie and the confidence to work on anything that isn't a strength, you're going to do great. Every single person has transferable skills. When they understand them and bring them into their business thrives in a way that the exact same business in someone else's hands would not, because that person brings something so authentically them that it just shines through. Now, some of you watching this video will have reached this part and thought, you know what, starting a business isn't right for me. Maybe you're thinking that the energy trade-offs are not worth it for where you're at in life. Maybe you're thinking that the job you have has the potential to give you what you want and you don't need to burn yourself out on a side project. If that's you, I am glad that you have a path. You haven't talked yourself out of having a business. You've talked yourself into maximizing the opportunity that's right in front of you. You can always decide later to start a business. That is always an option open to you. If now is not the right moment, then you're exactly where you need to be. Now, for everyone else, if you do it right and you go in with a sense of awareness about where you're at, starting a business does not need to be a reckless decision. It is not all or nothing, unless you choose for it to be. It's also something you're never going to be ready for. Even if you think you're ready, as soon as you start, you're going to realize there's 15 more skills that you need to know. Don't wait till you're ready. You don't need to quit your job. You don't need a perfect idea. Jump in, make the mistakes. You will be better for it in the long term. Now, whether or not you decided yes or no to starting a business, the win is that you decided intentionally, not by default. And if you've enjoyed today's video, please like and subscribe, and also drop your comment below about what you'll be focusing on in 2026. Thank you.